1989, a new era dawned in the history of the Formula Atlantic Series, a series which had produced many racing legends over the years. A new sponsor, Toyota, had attached its name to the series and brought with it the hot new Toyota engine, the perfect complement to the aerodynamically designed, superbly balanced Atlantic race machine. Over the last 2 years, the series has grown as the East and West Coast division each produced their own championships. But for 1991, the Toyota Atlantic Championship has become a national series with large fields, exciting venues, and aggressive young drivers mixed with seasoned veterans for what promises to be dynamic competition. Stay tuned as the action kicks off in Long Beach, California for the opening round of the 1991 Toyota Atlantic Championship.
It's a beautiful weather day here in Long Beach, California, as we get set for the opening round of the 1991 Toyota Atlantic Championship. Hello, everyone. I'm Bruce Flanders, along with the winner of the Eastern Division of the Toyota Atlantic Championship last year, Mr. Brian Till. And Brian, it's a different deal this year.
It is a different deal this year, Bruce. We've combined East and West into one national championship. Should see full fields at all the races throughout the country this year. Should be a great year for racing.
Standing by right now is the third member of our broadcast team, Calvin Fish, with the quickest qualifier and pole sitter, Jimmy Vasser.
The last time the East and West Coast met, Jimmy Vasser was on the pole and walked away from the field. Jimmy, do you feel you can do the same thing here at Long Beach?
Well, I sure hope so, Calvin. You know, we just we work as hard as we can, and we just do the best job we can. So if it should turn out that way, I'm sure we'll all be happy here at Genoa Racing.
I understand you made some more changes. When I spoke to you yesterday, even on the pole by a substantial margin, you still felt you could improve the car. Did you make any changes, and do you think they'll help today?
Yeah, we made a few conservative changes, and I think they will help. You know, we took in consideration the track might be a little slick after the Indy cars, and you know, hopefully they'll work out for the better.
Well, thank you, Calvin. Jimmy Vasser may be the quickest guy, but there's some heavy hitters coming behind.
A lot of other talent out there. Jocko Cunningham, 1989 Series champion. Freddie Rimrev, Jovi Marcello, who's won races in the past. Champions from other series, too. Kim Campbell, Can-Am. Stuart Crow, Super V, and a bunch of rookies that have a lot of talent. Should be a great competitive season.
36 are qualified for the standing start that we'll get underway with in just a little bit.
But as we mentioned, there is one national series this year, and you're at the opening round in Long Beach. Then from there, it's Phoenix and Sears Point, then over to the East Coast, where they incorporate some of the dates from the Eastern Championship last year, up into Canada, in fact, all over North America, and they finish up with a doubleheader at Laguna Seca. Well, it's a beautiful weather day, as I mentioned. 73 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 7. It's sunny as can be, 55% humidity, but 0 chance of rain. Today's race is brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. By Quaker State, the big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light.
It's really no big deal. Twice as old as most of the guys out there. So I just go twice as fast.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your light shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light. Just keep your Bud Light shining. It's just a light. Bud Light shine on. Everything else is just... You don't have to worry when rain keeps pouring down, 'cause your home can take
summer comes around.
Introducing Olympic Water Guard, the water sealant that protects brick, concrete, and wood by repelling water and blocking out the sun.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
The pace car is beginning to roll. So let's take a look now at who is qualified where. Now, the grid is Jimmy Vasser. You met him already. He's now calling San Francisco, California home. And joining him on that front row will be in car number 1, Jovi Marcello, who is listed as Hillsborough, California, but actually out of Manila in the Philippines. The number 24 car, that's Chris Smith from Palos Verdes Estates, California. And the number 02 is Paul Radisich from Hamilton, New Zealand, and he's a rather quick operator of a race car. Moving on now, in the 5th qualifying position, car 10, Bob Lesnet. The 6th qualifying position, number 33, Dave Dosky. Then 17, Charles Neerberg. Number 12, Kim Campbell. Number 3, Stuart Crow. Number 8, Steve O'Hara. Number 9, Mike Berg. Number 91, Steve Smith. Number 15, Peter Fossetta Jr. Number 88, Bert Hart. Number 93, John W. Tanner. Number 70, Sandy Dells. Number 2, Pate Hidalgo. Number 35, Jamie Gallus. Back in the 19th qualifying spot, it's number 78, Jordan Harris. The 20th qualifying spot, number 21, Gustavo Gutierrez Jr. Number 27, Freddie Remrev, who was a winner last year on this circuit, qualified poorly back at 21. And then John Miranda off of the 22nd spot. There's more of them, but the excitement is about ready to begin, Brian Till.
It is. They're getting pumped. They're coming around. Their heart rate is up, breathing hard. They're coming around for that standing start, which is unique to Toyota Atlantic here in the United States.
And as they bring them around, let's take a look at the circuit map itself. The course, a 1.67-mile lap. There are 11 turns, and they are primarily right-hand turns. There are 2 key passing positions at the end of each straightaway under braking.
You're on board right now with Jim Vasser, the quickest qualifier, the pole sitter, and you're seeing the pace car up in front of you. And this is another of our in-car cameras. This is John Tanner out of Sebring, Florida, in the Pope Racing Group Limited car. Now, as they come back around, they've got to find their starting spot and hope their tires are warm, right?
That's right. This first reconnaissance lap, as they call it, was to get the tires and the engine and the brakes up to temperature. They come down. They've got a crew member holding a paddle with their grid position on it. They come up, line up in their grid position, and get ready for the start. Engines are up to revs.
A lot of RPM.
And they're off. Looks like Jimmy has gotten a good start off the line.
It's like a rainbow of high speed coming to turn 1 down Shoreline Drive.
It looks like the 405 on the Thursday afternoon.
Jovi Marcello may have a wheel out in front. There's some slicing and dicing going on there, but it's Vasser as they go through turn 1.
Vasser's got the lead. Radisich made a great move, and it's crowded down there.
Ooh, hang on. It looks like so far over half the field has made it through. Now we're picking them up at turn 3, and there's been a tangle in turn 2, but they're continuing, except for the yellow car, a dead player right in the middle.
Yeah, we've had a slight tangle. We've got, that's car number 12.
12 is Kim Campbell, and that may be the end of his race already.
We can't tell really what the problem is. It looks like he's out of power.
Back on your leader right now, number 36, Jim Vasser out of San Francisco, California. The quickest qualifier. You've met him already, and now they come out onto the short chute the first time.
Jimmy's not pulled out a great lead. Jovi is all over him. Radisich up in third, and an interesting story in the lead Reynard race car that's out there.
Ooh, brakes on.
Oh, that's 24. Chris Smith off.
Chris Smith out of Palos Verdes, the one who locked up all 4 and then went up the escape route.
Yeah, you could see just in front of him, it looked like Jovi Marcello got a little wide in that corner, too.
We're going 38 laps, and maybe now they'll be starting to settle down. As the first lap is complete, and you're riding with the leader of the event, Jim Vasser, who is now up to speed, which is what on this racetrack?
We're looking at around 140 miles an hour as he approaches the braking zone for 1. He's pulled out a substantial lead now. Into 1, hard on the brakes, and down to second gear.
Vasser and Marcello running 1 and 2, and I think it was the 02 car of Paul Radisich, the New Zealander. So we've got a native Californian, a Filipino driver, and the New Zealander running 1, 2, 3, a rather international field at the top.
Toyota Atlantic is bringing in talent from literally all over the world now. It's one of the top series.
Why is that? Is it because of the cars, or is it because of the series, or the bucks?
The cars are very sophisticated, and yet you can run one on a fairly good budget. Therefore, you're bringing in a lot of talent.
Okay, well, they're sorting that talent out right now as they try to get the field all complete, and I don't think all 36 cars did make the first lap around. In fact, yellow flags are flying as you look at the leader, Vassar, coming down the short chute and into turn 9.
That's into turn 9 where we saw Chris Smith go off before. It looks like Jimmy and Jovi have been able to pull out a good lead there over Paul Radisich.
Yeah, but any lead at this point in the race could go away quickly to a yellow flag condition or something that would bunch him up. You're on board with John Tanner. He's trying to go around Nürburgring, and here we go on the straightaway. Let's listen.
John is a rookie. This is his very first race in the Toyota Atlantic car, so he's doing pretty well.
In front is Vassar, then Marcelo, Radisich, Bob Lesnet is in the 4th place spot, Stuart Crow 5th, Dave Doski 6th, John Tanner is now up to 7th. 7th spot, not bad from starting that far back.
Well, John has to be excited. They had some trouble in the last qualifying session with some braking problems. He had been as high as 6th in the first qualifying session, so look for him to move.
Well, the excitement here at Long Beach is going to be continuing. You're on board with the leader who's got clear sailing in front of him, but we've got a lot of laps to go. 38 total from Long Beach. Please, join us again after this.
No one wants to fill out a car theft form, but FBI reports show that last year, 1 of every 43 cars was stolen or vandalized. This is the club, the one device that offers visible, reliable, affordable defense against car theft. Put the tempered steel club on your steering wheel, and driving your car is virtually impossible until you take it off. Car thieves see the club and keep on going. If everyone used the club, we police would spend a lot less time filling out these and a lot more time stopping serious crimes. Over 600 police departments endorse the club. Listen, if everyone used the club, auto theft would be a thing of the past. You need the club. It's under $60 at any good store that sells auto supplies. Accept no cheap imitations. I recommend the club.
He's my dad, he's my friend, and he's my hero. So it's like all in one, you know. We can kid and we can talk about girls, whatever.
That is number 36, Jim Vassar, who leads. And welcome back to Long Beach for the opening round of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. Vassar, from the start, has been out in front of it and looking really good. Chasing him is Jovi Marcello. Paul Radisich is 3rd, Bob Lesnet 4th, and Stuart Crow in the 5th place spot. And an incident-free early on in this race.
So far, we've had a couple of spins, but nothing that has really caused a problem, nothing that's brought out more than a local yellow flag.
The number 10 car going by there, that was Bob Lesnet, who is sitting in the 4th place spot now. Lesnet around Stuart Crow. And Bob Lesnet is no rookie to open wheel racing.
No, he's not, Bruce. He's got a lot of experience in all different types of cars. Very quick in Sports 2000, closed wheel cars, very quick in Atlantic.
Every one of these cars on the very same Yokohama spec tires. Every one of them using the very same Toyota engine. And basically, they have about the same horsepower.
Oh, that was close. That's John Tanner. He has moved up substantially, trying to make a move on Dave Doski and locking up the brakes a little bit.
John Tanner, there you're on board with him right now out of Sebring, Florida. And it was him who's got four flat spots on those Yokohamas right now.
And we don't know if he's got the flat spots yet. It just depends on how quickly he got out of the brakes after they locked up. If he has flat spots, we'll see his head bouncing around here in just a second.
We're at the fastest portion of the racetrack. Now, what I need you to hear is as they come down into turn number 1. Here it comes. Turn 1 is a heavy braking point. Once again, let's see how Tanner's brakes hold up. That time, no smoke.
That time, no problem. It looks like John might be a little bit better on the brakes than Dave is. He seems to be gathering him up a little bit. That's the battle for... What is that? That would be 4th, 5th, and 6th, it looks like.
I think so. And David Doski is in, I think, the lead in that group there. Bringing him around. We were watching Tanner. You're seeing Tanner at the back of this group, and when we go on board with him, but we're not going to go on board with him here because, look, they go underneath a garage area here at Long Beach, under a big concrete parking structure, then back out the other side. The number 3 car is 5th, so you're looking at 5th, 6th, and 7th, and here comes the short chute, which is a little bumpy, isn't it?
It's very bumpy at the braking zone. There we've got a good look. back on board with John Tanner now, coming into that heavy braking area and the big bumps at the end of the straightaway. This time, no problems.
In fact, as we go with it, let's just let you listen to the audio for just a second. Here comes the slowest portion on the racetrack right here, turn 11. Well, back on the leader right now, the number 36 car doing so well. Jim Vassar, who won a couple of the races and drove well in a couple of others. He also drove, that was last season I meant to refer to. He also ran real hard in the Canadian Sports 2000 series last year.
Yeah, Jimmy was very good in the Formula Ford 2000 series in Canada last year. Won a bunch of races and only lost the championship because of a few mechanical problems.
He's been a go-kart driver. In fact, started racing four-wheeled vehicles at the age of 5.
It's kind of incredible when you think about it. He's 25 years old.
With 20 years of racing experience. There, as you see the leader, he gets under braking with a couple of seconds in hand right now over Jovi Marcello.
We're going to go on board once again with Vassar. Clear track in front of him. So let's see how easy he is on the gearbox as he comes off at turn 11, the slowest corner on the track. Third in points last year on the Eastern Division of the Tour. In fact, on ESPN, we watched him win Toronto last year, but it appears as though Long Beach won't be a victory stand for him.
Here's a good look at Jocko Cunningham. Started 28th, now up to the 15th spot. He was the 1989 Toyota Atlantic champion.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I think he broke a thumb or something last year, which interrupted his chances, made yours get a little bit better. You didn't have to run Jocko every stop on the tour.
That's true. I didn't have to fight with him too much. He did injure his hand, had some bad luck with a motor in qualifying. That's why he qualified so far back, and look for him to continue his march towards the front.
Yeah, but it's a tougher march now. Can he come from 28th all the way to a win?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be really hard, and it would require some yellow flags to bring the field back to him a little bit. He's just too far back. He's had to fight a lot, can't get the open laps, and that's allowed Jimmy Vassar, who's running basically traffic-free, to pull out a good lead.
Well, they are motoring stoutly here at Long Beach, and you're back on board with Vassar as he's in traffic, and traffic now for him is not going to be an easy thing because nobody wants to give up a position on this track.
Well, nobody wants to give up position, but you got to pay attention to the fact that that's the leader that's coming by.
And that blue flag you saw was given to the slower car so that in effectively telling the driver of the slower car you are about to be passed by the leader, give way, correct?
That's right. It makes the guy aware of it, but you got to realize when you qualify back in a pack with a field this size that you are going to be lapped, and you need to be looking in those mirrors and be aware when the leader's going to be coming by.
Following the number 36, Vassar, as he's put some traffic between he and second. There is second place, the number 1 on the car, Jovi Marcello out of Manila in the Philippines, although living and been going to school in Hillsborough, California.
Here's that battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th again.
Stuart Crow, Dave Doskey, and John Tanner in a locked horns position.
And Doskey has picked up a spot on Stuart Crow. And John Tanner's just sitting back there doing the right thing, biding his time and kind of watching to see what's going on.
Looking at John Tanner, who is in that 7th place right now. Started in, I think, the 15th spot and moved to 7th, so he's gobbled up 8 of them already, but the customers don't get easier to get around, do they?
That's right. As you move up towards the front, obviously the drivers up there are faster and faster and faster, and it becomes more difficult as you go to pick up those positions.
5 of the 38 laps are down at this point, and again, you're on board with Tanner. This is a braking move right here. Does he make it work?
Trying to make the move on Stuart Crow, who was last year's Super B champion, and he makes it.
Yeah, and Stuart Crow trying to get right back underneath him as they come through 9, 10, and now into turn 11. So Tanner moves up one more notch. That puts him in the 6th place position on the racetrack.
John having a really remarkable drive back with him on Shoreline Drive.
We're at speed here, still picking up RPM. But if we can stay with him for just a second, listen to the downshifting and the braking that's going to come in just a moment or two. Under the Texaco Bridge, and here comes turn 1. Turn 2. Now, turn number 3. Ooh, that was close to a wall.
Well, you want to run close to the walls here at Long Beach, but I'm not sure you want to run quite that close.
Jimmy Vassar is in front, but the racing far from over in Long Beach. Join us again right after this.
I see you've selected the ultimate adventure. Vehicle preference?
Toyota 4x4, the black one.
Excellent choice. Oh no, we've lost another one.
A 1991 Toyota 4x4, the ultimate adventure.
When Acura asked if we would design a new tire for the extraordinary NSX, we responded very quickly. Yokohama, where Acura turned for ultra-high performance.
Welcome back to Long Beach, California. I'm Bruce Flanders. Along with Brian Till, we're covering the Toyota Atlantic Championship. And here's a list of the all-time victors in the Atlantic Series, including Villeneuve at the top. Boy, there's some famous names. And right in the middle there, Calvin Fish, the third member of our broadcast team, who's got 7 overall victories to his credit. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, we're looking now at the third-place car with a pretty slippery little move there. That's Paul Radisich, the young New Zealander, who's coming up to speed and trying to chase down Joby Marcello, who's in second.
He is gaining some ground. Well, there's a close call there at the hairpin and with some lap traffic, but you can see the distance there between the 1 car and the 02 car, 1 being Joby Marcello, 02 Paul Radisich, like we talked about. And Paul is the highest running Reynard chassis out there. Most of the other cars are Swifts.
Now, get me into traffic at this point in the race. There's some guys who are just busy going as fast as they can who don't drive with their mirrors, right?
That's right. They're out there running their own race, and it's at this point where it gets really tricky because these guys aren't slow, but they're just not quite as quick as the leader. So you got to really work your way through this and be careful.
He just got 2 of them in 1 corner. Can you sometimes pass them in a wholesale fashion like that and still live?
Well, you hope you can. You hope that they see you coming, and the corner workers here have done a tremendous job with the blue flags, and that helps. That warns the slower driver that he's about to be overtaken.
A good shot at how bouncy that track is right there is the Reynard of Paul Radisich, the New Zealand driver, who was all over the track trying to get the braking done at the corner. 02. Actually, he's number 102, but they don't let him put triple-digit numbers on the side of the cars.
Cars are small. There's not enough room.
Now and onto the front straightaway. See that number 1 car? That's Marcello. He's second, and right behind him is the 02 Radisich. And again, they're in deep traffic here.
Yeah, he's really gaining on him. Now, the other thing you have to remember that this is like the 3rd or 4th race run here this weekend. So there's a lot of rubber, a lot of oil, could be even debris on the racetrack, and that could play a big part in it. They're just going to have to read the racetrack as well as reading the traffic.
Shadows starting to get a little bit long, and certainly a bright sunlight. Is that affecting them a lot inside the driving compartment?
Well, it can if the sun is in your eyes down a long straightaway. They don't seem to have that problem here, but the shadows can play a big part, especially when they get over there and start to head underneath the parking garage that you go through here at Long Beach.
Joby Marcello trying to wholesale pass. So also is Radisich as the number 1 and the number 02 battle for the 2nd place spot. Vassar still leads it, but there is your 2nd place car, Marcello, in deep traffic.
Radisich and Marcello both are driving as hard as they possibly can, but they're in heavy traffic, and the traffic could end up playing a big role in whether Paul can catch him or not.
Joby got a good break right there as the number 78 car, I think it was, that led him on by. And number 78 belonging to Jordan Harris out of Malibu, California, as Marcello comes out onto the front straightaway and got within inches of the wall.
Yeah, you want to use every bit of the racetrack here, and you get a little wheel spin coming out of the hairpin there. That can be interesting. Joby's done a good thing. He's been able to get Jordan in between himself and Radisich, and that could give him some breathing room that he desperately needs right now.
Uh-oh, we got one around and a bent wing, so he might have gone into the wall just a little bit harder.
That is at the entrance to turn 9, and he's sitting in a precarious position. The car number is 26. The driver out of Dallas, Texas is Pat Shelby, the son of Carroll Shelby. Now, if you've been around sports cars for any length of time, such things as the Mustang GT350 and the Cobras with the big 427s are attributed to his father. But right now, Pat Shelby wants out of that car. Not a good place for him to be sitting and looking up track at the traffic.
You certainly don't want to be stuck in that car for long.
Back on board with the leader right now as Jimmy Vasser moves down in right around that incident at turn 9.
You can see Pat sitting there, and what Jimmy hopes for is that Pat hasn't hit the wall hard enough to put debris back on the racetrack that could cut a tire down or get into his radiators.
Somehow I bet Jimmy Vasser hopes that they clear it off and don't throw a yellow flag too, huh?
Yeah, the last thing Jimmy wants to see is a full course yellow right now. He has worked very hard and pulled out a substantial lead, and he doesn't want to see all that hard work go to waste.
Well, as the number 36 car crossed the stripe this last time, we are now 1/3 of the way through the event, and a long way yet to go here in Long Beach. We've got a report from the pit lane with Calvin Fish.
Bruce, I'm here with number 27, Freddie Remrev, driving the rain out this afternoon, obviously out of the race. Freddie, what put you out today?
It's a shame. We put such an effort into it, Carl Haas and comp prep, and we just lost all drive. I don't know what lap it was, but we were just moving up steadily as we could go.
Bad luck, Fred. Back to you, Bruce, in the booth.
Thank you, Calvin. And here is the battle for second place, and Radicic is all over the back of Joey Marcello.
Paul has been able to close right in on the back of him. They've got this lap car in front of him, and that could have slowed Jovi down a little bit.
What about it? Now, a little bit of a brave move there, but the guy moved over and left them by. Now let's see if Radicic is, obviously, Marcello is aware that Radicic is chasing him for second?
Oh, he's very well aware of it. As a matter of fact, you saw Jovi get a little loose there, and what he can't do is run in his mirrors now. He's got to drive his own race. If Paul can get by him, he can get by him, but you can't drive a race car with your mirrors.
At that angle, you could see the differential. The major chassis are Swifts as far as total numbers, and there are a few Reynards. The second place car with the number 1 on it is a Swift, and there is a full course yellow flag out now. There is a full course yellow flag out now. I think it is because of Shelby.
And the pace car will come out onto the track and take control of the field and bunch them all back up. So that battle we've been watching for second between Marcello and Radicic will be on a hold button, and they won't be able to pass each other at the moment. Meanwhile, we told you about the great start John Tanner had on that first lap, passing 6 cars in just that first lap. Well, this yellow flag situation gives us a rare opportunity to watch the drive from our onboard camera with John Tanner. And here we go, replay from first lap. He started 15th. He's gotten by 2 or 3 already, and here comes turn 1. They exit turn number 3. They're on their way to turn 4. He's gotten by another one, and that is Steve Smith in front of him right at the moment. Underneath the highest garage area, getting ready to come out onto the short chute. Through the gearbox, the second fastest portion of the racetrack right here, and we go underneath Steve Smith under braking. From 15th place to 9th place, this is turn 11 and almost the completion of 1 full lap. John Tanner with our onboard camera taking us for a replay ride that was a worthy effort. He's still running quite well too, but we are under a yellow flag condition right now in the streets of Long Beach, and there's a look at the pace car with the whole field under control. We will be back for a lot more racing from Long Beach though, right after this.
The rage is on. Forrest Whitaker, Gregory Hines, Robin Gibbons, and Danny Glover. See it or they'll shoot the dog.
Just don't let me see you shoot no dogs.
A Rage in Harlem, rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Oh, come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down. Come to General for free unlimited mileage. And come for your choice of Chrysler cars for just $19.91. And be sure to come to General for driver's side airbags. See, we don't just want you to come to General. We want you to come back.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
There he goes. He leaves. He makes the catch.
See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action.
Five-time batting champion Wade Boggs of the Red Sox. Hard-hitting Kirk Gibson of the Royals. Two of baseball's best hitters collide when the Red Sox beat the Royals. Live at 8 Eastern on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Welcome back to Long Beach, California. We are under a yellow flag. You see the pace car going by with its lights lit up. Let's set the top 10 for you. There is some traffic in between, but the leader is number 36, Jim Vassar, the first one behind a pace car, then a lapped car. Then it'll be number 1, Jovi Marcello, and number 02, Paul Radisich, who have been having a ding-dong battle for second place. Running in fourth is number 10, Bob Lesnet. In fifth, number 33, Dave Dosky. Sixth place is number 93, John Tanner, our other camera car. Seventh place is number 3, Stuart Crow, the former Super Beast standout. Eighth place is number 9, Mike Berg, the Southern Californian who did so well in the New Zealand series this year. Ninth place is number 17, Charles Muirberg. And 10th place is number 15, Peter Fossetta.
You're on board with the leaders, number 36, Vassar. The lights are still on the pace car, means we will go one more lap. So let's go to the pit lane and Calvin Fitch.
Bruce, I'm here with Bobby Carville, driver of car number 6. Bobby, I understand you had electrical problems all weekend. Is that what put you out in the race today?
Well, I think it was more of a carburetor problem. We've had a miss all weekend long. We made some changes before the race, but we just weren't able to get it sorted out.
That's too bad. Not the way you wanted to start your campaign, but on to Phoenix.
Thank you, Calvin. As the pace car still has control, that gives us an opportunity to take an inside look at the leader, number 36, Jim Vassar. He's young and with limited Atlantic experience, only 9 starts, but 2 wins already under his belt, and he started when he was knee-high.
I've been racing since I was 6 years old. I started racing quarter midgets, and when I was 18 years old, I bought my first Formula Ford, and my father and I campaigned that, and here we are today racing Formula Atlantics. My family's always been behind me in my racing. We have a real racing-oriented family. My dad was a drag racer in the 60s, and when we raced quarter midgets when I was a child, was a big family thing. My sisters would come along, so they really enjoy it. They enjoy it a great deal. So just having them along with me at the race weekend helps me out a great deal. It's as close of a race car to an Indy car as anything out there. It's a very competitive series with the great support from Toyota and Yokohama. I think that there really isn't any other choice in North America. Well, obviously the competition is going to be very stiff. I think in the last few years you've had the shootout, East-West shootout, which has been a big event. And now we have a 13-race series of shootouts. So I think it should be quite exciting.
And you can expect to see the name Jimmy Vassar at the top of the finishing orders of several of those 13 race shootouts. We're anticipating a green. The pace car is off.
And we are green once again here at the beach. And jumping out is Vassar. Marcello also got a good roll on that one. It looked like Radisich was kind of caught flat-footed.
Jimmy did get a big jump off the last turn. He knew the green was going to be out. Here comes Marcello around lap traffic trying to close the gap that he had lost in the racing before.
All right, the number 21 car that looks like he's in third place is far from it. In fact, he is now down a lap to all of them, and that is Gustavo Gutierrez Jr., which will probably be the only chance we'll get to say his name because they're using him up. There's first and there's second. There's back on. Vassar the leader, Marcello the second place spot, and watching for the third place guy, Radisich, the New Zealand driver.
Radisich has been all over Marcello, and we expect to see him pick some more room back up and get back on Jovi's rear wing. Jimmy's the one that's probably been affected by this most of all. He had a big lead. Now it's all gone away. But one of the benefits that has come to him is that now he has a fairly clean racetrack in front of him because the field bunched up. So he's got an open racetrack to work with.
Around the back marker is that Reynard that you're looking at. In front, if you're into the chassis that these guys drive, are a pair of Swift chassis made here in California. But the Reynard, a product of Great Britain, running third.
That's right. You don't see many Reynards out there. They are a good race car. They just haven't quite caught on over here in the United States yet. But after Paul Radisich is doing so well in this car today, maybe they'll sell some more of them.
20 laps of this competition at Long Beach are now completed. The leaders now have a relatively open track in front of them and a chance to reel back out some distance, right?
That's right. That's the only good thing that has come out of this yellow flag for Jimmy Vassar and the leaders. It's given them probably another 10 or so laps of open racetrack in front of them, whereas before they were in the thick of the field of lap traffic.
That is the fourth place car, number 10, Bob Lesnet. There is a couple of pieces of traffic between he now and third, Radicic, but Lesnet doing quite well. Behind him a little ways further will be the number 33 of Dosky, which would round out our top 5 as they run on the track. In fact, waiting to see if we can find Dosky. The number 33, there he went, right?
Yep, that was Dosky. He still has John Tanner, the rookie, stuck to him fairly well. And there we got to look at the number 3 car of Stuart Crow.
Tanner and Dosky battling for the 5th place spot as they go out onto that back chute and underneath the big bridge there. And you're on board with Tanner, sitting 6th on the racetrack you are right now.
He's trying to hunt down Dosky. Now, this is what's going to be interesting. That is John Tanner's teammate and sponsor in the car, the lap car in front of him.
Well, bump him out of the way, right?
I'm sure Gene will let John go without much of a problem if he realizes that it's John behind him.
Down the front straightaway they come and up through the gearbox. 2nd gear, 3rd gear, 4th gear, and all the way on up.
Looks like John had a little trouble out of the hairpin, got some wheel spin, and he's lost a fair amount of distance to Dave Dosky there.
Back to the leader right there, number 36, Vassar. Vassar with no traffic. Now he gets to pick and choose and get his rhythm back, right?
That's one of the things that you do lose under a lengthy yellow flag is your rhythm. And rhythm is very important in a race car. You get in a almost a rut, but a good rut, if you will, of driving the car, and everything flows and works very well, and you almost don't even have to think about it anymore. It's just second nature.
What about tire warmth? You turn around, you're under a yellow flag condition, you're going at pace car speed. Do those Yokohamas cool off? You've driven on them.
The tires do cool off. It's very important that you keep them warm, and I'm sure that one of the reasons why Jimmy's been able to pull back out a little bit is he did a real good job of keeping the tires warm.
Well, Jimmy Vassar is in front of it right now. In 2nd place, it's Marcelo. Radicic 3rd. The action continues from Long Beach, and we'll be right back to show you more of it.
This is where Toyota learns the value of racing. This is where you learn the value of racing.
You don't have to worry when rain keeps pouring down, 'cause your home can take it whenever comes around.
Introducing Olympic Water Guard for wood, the one water sealant that goes beyond water repellency to resist sun damage, fight mildew, and strengthen wood.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
When Acura asked if we would design a new tire for the extraordinary NSX, we responded very quickly. Yokohama, where Acura turned for ultra-high performance.
You know, it's so much easier to find things now.
Here's the vacuum for Mom, the Hoover Elite Limited Edition. It's really powerful and it's got all these attachments.
This will make vacuuming easier for Mom.
You know what'll make it even easier?
Uh-oh, I know where this is going.
He said not to get anything but Quaker State motor oil. Oh, it's on sale. He? My new neighbor.
But you just had the oil changed.
Well, he doesn't know that, and it's not going to hurt the car. And he's gorgeous.
22 out of the 38 laps are down in Long Beach, California. Bruce Flanders and Brian Till calling the action for you. We're looking at a battle between two hot runners at the moment, number 17 and number 9. Number 17 is Charles Neerberg. He holds down the 9th place spot. Mike Berg in the number 9 car keeps trying to take it away from him. Got it around him, didn't he?
Well, we don't see Mike now. Actually, Charles is trying to fight his teammate Stuart Crow at this point in time.
Which would be for the 7th place spot. That's where Stuart Crow in car number 3 is running as you watch number 17, the 8th place car, Neerberg.
You can just see Mike Berg in the background. He's lost a lot of distance. Maybe made a mistake coming around a corner. and that allowed Charles and Stewart to pull away from him.
And they are closing on our camera car, John Tanner, who's holding down 6th. And Tanner has been doing an outstanding performance up until now.
John's been doing a great job, and hopefully he was able to keep his tires warm and during that yellow flag and get his rhythm back.
You're on board with Tanner now as we're beyond the halfway point in this event. One thing I wanted to ask you about tires. Do they live the whole distance, or can you burn the tires to the ground?
Well, you can burn them up if you get a lot of wheel spin, and that's one thing you want to control. But all in all, the Yokohamas are a very good tire, and they stay consistent throughout the race.
As they come through the corner.
That'll be a back marker, and this is what John desperately did not want to see. He caught him at one of the tightest sections of the racetrack, and that has held him up. And what it's allowed is Stuart Crow to catch up.
And I think that is Mike Berg right there, the number 9, the one who did well in New Zealand. About the closest driver here, living right in Southern California. Well, there's more.
And you can see Jocko Cunningham come into the picture behind him. Jocko, remember, had that bad qualifying, and he's working his way up.
Jocko Cunningham now shown on the board in the 10th place spot. And we got him in 10th here after starting 28th.
Picking his way through. That full course yellow really helped Jocko. That brought the field back to him, and he's gaining ground on Mike Berg down the back straightaway.
There's a good look at Jocko, who won the championship. What was that now, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, that's right, Bruce. But he has not lost any of his competitive drive, even though he only got to run 2 or 3 races last year.
And he always has a good piece of equipment. We're back on the leader right now, Jim Vassar, who we don't want to ignore him. He has been putting on an outstanding performance. In fact, looking back in the next spot when they come up to the straightaway, we'll try and figure out the differential between Vassar, Jovi Marcello, and Paul Radisich. The Californian, the Filipino driver, and the Kiwi from New Zealand running in 3rd. Here comes a look at it. This is the short chute, and you'll be able to see 1, 2, and where is Radisich? That may be him, and that is, I think, your differential. And there was a dead player there parked off driver's left.
Yeah, he's off to the side. That shouldn't bring out a full course yellow, and that's what the drivers want to see. They want to be able to keep racing. Jimmy's been able to pull his lead back out a little bit, but not near as substantially as he had before. But you can tell his car is working very well. He's not working at the car. You see his hands on the wheel, very smooth.
Underneath you went the second place car, and here comes Paul Radisich holding down 3rd and wants a little bit more. Long Beach, California, the Toyota Atlantic Championship will be coming at you again right after this.
Getting some people excited about the Train XL 1200 air conditioner is tough. We can tell people that it's the best we've ever built, that it's up to 50% more energy efficient than their old air conditioner, and all too often, nothing happens until the electric bill arrives.
Let Mallory Fulmer Company install a new Train XL 1200 air conditioner today and qualify for up to $200 in rebates. Call for details today.
I like the hot MTO.
MTO, made to order, just for you.
Because people are different.
And so is Sheets.
Whether you're a man, really delicious.
Or a woman.
Their fresh salad started me coming to Sheets.
For a kid whose eyes are bigger than his stomach.
Come try our subs, hot or cold sandwiches, and fresh salads all made to order, just for you.
We call it MTO. Sheets. And it's delicious. Or we wouldn't put our name on it.
We're in Long Beach, California. I'm Bruce Flanders, along with Brian Till and Calvin Fish, and it's Toyota Atlantic Championship Racing. And here's a fact. These are the names that have won in the streets before at Long Beach, including Howdy Holmes, Tom Gloy back-to-back, Jeff Brabham back-to-back, and current IndyCar drivers competing this weekend, Hiro Matsushita and Mark Dismore. Uh-oh, there's a car around at turn 11. It is number 28, Joe Sposato. It looks like he did it all by himself right there at turn 11. I couldn't see what happened. What about you, Brian?
Couldn't really see what happened to him. We could just see that he was backwards there. Probably overcooked the corner a little bit, rotated the car, and got it sideways.
2 years ago, Joe Sposato finished 2nd in total points in the Western Division of Atlantics. I think he's going to be chasing the whole tour this year. As you look at Sposato, everything appears to be okay. And here is the leader, Jimmy Vassar, hunting Sposato, wanting to put him down another lap, as Vassar is so smooth right now.
Jimmy really is driving a beautiful race. Like I said earlier, the car is working for him. You can see his hands on the steering wheel. He's not fighting the car. It's very smooth. He's doing a great job.
27 laps down. Vassar still with the lead. Marcelo still second. Paul Radicic third. Bob Lesnet fourth. Dave Donsky fifth. And our second in-car camera, John Tanner, at sixth. It's Stuart Crow, Charles Neerberg, Mike Berg, and Jocko Cunningham rounding out the top 10 as we watch the leader try and be smooth and yet use them up.
Yeah, he's using all of the car. Don't get me wrong there. But he's not having to fight with it. That's why he's been able to pull that lead back out. When you've got a car that's working for you like that, like I said, it's just like second nature. It just works for you. It almost comes.
The white car
natural.
is number 11, Jocko Cunningham. The one chasing him is Berg, and they are sitting in 9th and 10th right now. And Cunningham has gotten by Berg and apparently is now sitting 9th. But if I'm not mistaken, the leader is just a little ways behind them, trying to put him down a whole lap.
Jocko has moved way up the grid.
Oh, yeah.
28th
starting
qualifying
position.
session.
There are 8 laps left as they circuit around this course, and they are now spread out evenly practically. There are Toyota Atlantic Championship cars all the way around the 1.67-mile-long course with 11 turns. 10 laps are left. That's what the report we were getting as we look there at the, I think that's Sandy Dells, isn't it, who just went by?
That was number 70, Sandy Dells. He is a veteran of Toyota Atlantic Championship racing. You can never count him out. He is a charger.
Running 11th place at the moment, too, is Dells, who did not qualify well at all. I talked with him. He was 16th qualifier. He's 11th on the board. There we are, back with Vassar out onto the short chute underneath the bridges.
To give you some idea of how good of a race car driver Jimmy Vassar is and how well he is doing, that's Joe Sposato that he's passing. You mentioned that he was second in the championship not too long ago. Sposato has also been known to do a couple of IndyCar racers, so Jimmy Vassar is certainly showing what he's made of today.
Coming around this time, there will be, as they cross the stripe, as I get my lap count right, there will be 9 laps left. He's coming up on the stripe right there, and there's a shot of him from high atop the convention center here as he makes his way down the fastest portion of this racetrack.
Cars are going to reach around 140 miles an hour as they approach the braking zone down here. They're hard on the brakes, down to second gear. You could see the differential there a little bit back to Jovi. Jimmy's been able to inch it out lap by lap, and that's exactly how he started the race.
What goes through a guy's mind? You've been here leading a lot. But, oh, wait, there's a guy I wanted to talk about. Now, a lot of you are familiar with the movie star who is now passed away, Mr. Steve McQueen, but in the number 42 car right there, his son, Chad McQueen, making his Long Beach debut in an Atlantic. The 42 car, the second of them. You see, whoop, where'd that other guy go? Okay. Anyway, McQueen in the number 42, not in the top 10, but still out there driving well.
Well, he's working hard, and he doesn't have much experience in these cars. Following in his father's footsteps to some degree, Steve McQueen was a big fan of sports car racing and everything, and I'm sure it must have rubbed off on his son.
He picked up a sponsorship from Hawaiian Tropic, the suntan lotion people, and this was the weekend you needed suntan lotion at Long Beach. Now we're with John Tanner. John Tanner, who started 15th, and you're on board with him. He has picked up 9 spots and currently is 6th on the racetrack. That has to be a nice personal performance.
He's got to be excited about that. I know he wanted to come into this race and finish in the top 10. He set realistic goals for himself being a rookie, and he's doing very, very well. He just needs to keep his wits about him, and he'll be fine.
This is turn 3 on board with Tanner as he comes right up against the wall there.
He's not taking it easy by any stretch of the imagination. He's still trying hard, and that's what's going to make John a good race car driver in the future.
John Tanner taking it through turn number 5, I think it is, and now goes underneath the garage area. Boy, it gets dark in there about this time of the day.
Well, you know, it's always a little bit dark in there, but you can see how the shadows are coming off of the wall there, and those kind of inch into the garage area and make that dark spot longer.
The 15 car has spun. That's Peter Fossetta, and we're at turn 11. Ooh, don't back up that way.
Spun there at the hairpin and creating trouble for everybody. I think that's Russ Newman that he almost tangled with there.
That was 51 went in. I'm sorry. That was Russ Newman who ended up into the pit lane. Here's another look back at what happened. Marcelo is right there, too.
Ooh, that was Radicic trying to get under Marcelo.
And Radicic ended up, I think,
he got him.
He got by Marcelo, and Marcelo came up dead engine for just a moment there.
He could have missed a gear or something. It looked like, we're going to have to get a good look at the nose of Radicic's car. He could have hit Fossetta.
As here comes a look at the Reynard nose.
And Radicic has moved into second, but look at the nose. He did hit Fossetta. The left front wing is torn up. The fiberglass is torn up. I can't tell if that's going to affect him around this racetrack. Luckily, the turns are slow enough that the aerodynamics are not that important.
at the moment, there is the second place car, Paul Radisich, still chasing that car. Jimmy Vassar, who is your leader. Come on back for the Toyota Atlantic Championship from Long Beach.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee, a guarantee so tough your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
There's a car moving into the pits. Let's go down to Dan Hawk. Dan?
Toyota Celica GT, Jim. Now, what's the reason for the pit stop, Chief?
We're adding air conditioning, cruise control, AM, FM, stereo, cassette, power windows, power door locks. Guys, don't forget the floor mats.
Rear spoiler, too.
Yep, you got it. The works.
All these options at a savings of up to $800. What do you think?
Hey, I always wanted a Celica. I heard about the offer. I'm on TV. All this when you buy a new Celica GT?
That's right, Jim. Back to you.
I'm Eric Clemens. For the record, Sports Center's at 6:30. Ricky runs for Lou Brock's record. Chuck Person sets a record as the Pacers come up big in Game 2 at Boston. And the Phil's Jason Grimsley has a dubious record. Sports Center's at 6:30.
The closing stages of the opening round of the 1991 Toyota Atlantic Championship. That's number 36, Jim Vassar, who has led since the opening green flag. And there's a car around at turn number 11. It is number 10, our fourth place runner, Bob Lesnett. Here's a replay.
Here he comes in slow motion. Looks like he's just trying to maximize and use every inch of the racetrack, and yep, boom.
The right rear wheel hook in the wall, and it just tore it off.
Hits it on the wall. It
and he
doesn't
was
take much.
running in, I think, fourth place at the time, looking for a points-paying position,
That's
but
a
it
shame.
hurt him.
Yep, that's a shame. You try to use every inch of the racetrack and make the most of it. Maximize the radius through the corner. And you got to remember when you're driving these cars that the rear wheels stick out further than the front ones do. You get too close to the wall, it doesn't take much of a touch. Cars are pretty fragile.
Jimmy Vassar coming by. There's another look at Chad McQueen, who is down a lap, and there is the car as it sits. They are leaving the car there because there is not much time left in this event now, and it is known to all the competitors where it is. A big differential now back to Radisich with the wounded left front wing, and Jovi Marcello is right back on Radisich.
Yeah, that battle hasn't stopped. Jovi is closed back in on him with 3 laps to go. It's going to be interesting to see if Radisich can hold him off with that car damaged the way it is. We think it's just the nose and the wing, but there's no way of telling if it didn't get into the suspension a little bit. And Paul's driving a rather interesting line there.
I think he's driving what you would consider a defensive line. Isn't turn 1 about one of the most favorite places to get by somebody?
It is an excellent place to get by somebody. Jovi has to wait. He can't let himself get impatient. Paul is blocking a little bit. He's driving a wide race car, but Jovi needs to think about where he's going to have the advantage on him and try to get around him, or to sucker Paul into a mistake. Fake him one way and then try to go the other.
Now, I watched Jovi Marcello drive a lot last year. Patience is not his greatest strong suit.
I think he matured a lot throughout the season, and hopefully that maturity will pay off here. We'll have to wait and see. And speaking of maturity, we hope that Paul has some too. You don't want to see anybody blocking and blocking. You want to see him drive a nice, fair race.
Marcello goes around. Let's see if he didn't kill the motor. Picks it back up, and he hangs on to the third place spot on the track.
He's got it up and running again, and we had hoped that Jovi would be a little more patient. I think he got on the bumps there. The rear end of the car actually got up in the air a little bit on the bumps. And with a little bit of turning in the car, if you take the rear wheels off the ground just slightly, or even take a couple of 100 pounds off of them by bouncing them up in the air, it's going to be hard to keep it under there.
Back on your leader right now, the number 36 car, Jim Vassar out of San Francisco, California, and the Blue Sky Cola sponsored car. You can't say anything bad about his performance so far.
You really can't. It has been flawless, and I don't want to jinx him with that. But the car has been hooked up. Jimmy's been hooked up. He's 25 years old. He's been racing for 19 or 20 years of his life, so he has a lot of racing experience.
And we're going to take a look back. Here's Marcello trying to get around Radisich. This is a replay.
The car's just bumping a little bit, and it looks like, too, he could have had a little too much rear brake bias in the car. If the rear wheels lock up first, they're going to want to try to swap in. The sliding tire always wants to lead the car.
Around that parked car. In fact, there are now dead players spread out evenly all over this
Body
racetrack.
parts are on the racetrack.
Yeah, and debris. But that is Vassar right now, I think, going out onto his last lap.
Well, and it still sounds plenty good as he gets ready to jam back down through the gearbox at 1.
David Doskey, the number 33, the blue and yellow, is our fourth place car. This is not a pass for position. He's trying to get around another one of the back marker cars, but Dave Doskey, nice run.
He's got one more lap to go, and that's Peter Falsetta in front of him.
Back on, Vassar, as he comes out onto the short chute. This should be his last pass down the short chute, and as you said, every rattle, every chink, every clink is going to be dead engine or something, right?
He's probably looked at the gauges more times this lap than he's looked at them the entire race. Not going to do him any good. He's on the last lap, but you know those little nerves. You're always worried about the gremlins coming to get you at the last lap.
If he can get off of this next corner, he can coast to the checkered flag. Here it is, turn 11, coming up through the gearbox. This has got to be it. What a way to start the season.
He's got to be extremely excited about that. There's the checkered flag and an excellent win for Jimmy Vassar. Fantastic drive.
Now let's see what happens for the second place spot. We're waiting for Paul Radisich and Jovi Marcello. That is not the second place battle there. Here comes the 02 car of Paul Radisich.
Paul's been able to hold on that.
And Marcello now crossing the line right there for third. Looking for the blue and yellow car of David Doskey. Here it comes. And here's our camera car, John Tanner, for fifth place. So we had cameras on first and fifth trying to give you a look at the way this whole deal went.
Excellent drive for John Tanner as a rookie. That is fantastic. The rest of the field comes on through, and there's Jimmy. He's a happy guy.
Well, it has been a tremendous battle here in the streets for the opening round of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. We'll be back with you with a little more right after this short break.
When Acura asked if we would design a new tire for the extraordinary NSX, we responded very quickly. Yokohama, where Acura turned for ultra-high performance.
They ate their words. Critics are saying McDonald's new McLean Deluxe is revolutionary. That's because it's made with the leanest beef patty in the business, 91% fat-free. They're calling it phenomenal. That's because it tastes fantastic. The public demanded, McDonald's responded, with great burger taste and a lot less fat. But don't fill up on the press. Taste for yourself. One bite and you'll be talking about it too. Swallow first. New McLean Deluxe. After billions and billions, another first at McDonald's today.
If you plan on watching the America's Cup in '92, don't miss the same yachts you'll see there face their first real racing test, the World Championships. See it live from San Diego Saturday, May 11th, only on ESPN. We're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
The opening round of the Toyota Atlantic Championship has been brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. By Yokohama Tires, advanced technology on wheels. And by McDonald's, always good food, always good value.
Welcome back to Long Beach, California. The grandstand's beginning to empty. The drivers have made their way around to Victory Circle, and our man Calvin Fish is down there with the winner, Jimmy Vassar. Calvin?
Jimmy Vassar, superb performance. Obviously the way you wanted to start the campaign for this season. The car looked flawless. Any trouble out there?
Well, about the halfway point, we lost the clutch, but that's really not a hindrance. The car handled flawlessly, and the engine ran perfect. I got to hand it to the guys. They did a hell of a job putting me in a good car, and this win is for them.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And we're with Paul Radisich, your second place finisher. Quite a battle with Jovi Marcello out there today. How'd it go?
It was interesting. I sort of pulled away for halfway distance. I thought, well, these guys are a little quicker than me today, and I'll just hang in and see what happens. And as it was, Jovi come back, and we sort of had a mishap. Unfortunately, I went up the inside and we touched, and I come out better on the day, but it could have quite easily gone the other way.
It was a great battle. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Back to you, Bruce, in the booth.
Thank you, Calvin. And here is the official finishing order. Vassar, Radisich, Marcello, Doski, and Tanner. Then Crow, Cunningham, Nierberg, Berg, and Dells. The rest of the top 15, Gallus, Miranda, O'Hara, Buckingham, and Sposato. The points pretty much the way you'd figure. Vassar leads them as they go on to Phoenix after this. I'm Bruce Flanders for Calvin Fish and Brian Till. Thanks for watching the opening round of the Toyota Atlantic Championship from Long Beach.